Rain was falling hard that evening when Emma Collins arrived in the small town of Ridgefield. She stepped off the old gray bus, holding a small suitcase and wearing a black coat that looked a little too big for her. Her face was calm, but her eyes, they carried a storm of secrets. Nobody knew who she was, and she liked it that way. Emma walked quietly down the street, her shoes splashing in the rain. The town looked peaceful: little houses, a diner on the corner, and a bakery that smelled like warm bread. She smiled softly. This could be home, she whispered to herself. The next morning, she went to Sarah's cafe, the only coffee shop in town. Sarah, a friendly middle-aged woman with red hair, looked her up and down. "Looking for work?" she asked. Emma nodded. "Yes, ma'am. I can make coffee, clean tables, whatever you need." Sarah smiled. "You can start today. What's your story, sweetheart? Where are you from?" Emma froze for a second. Then she smiled politely and said, "Nowhere special." And that became her answer every time someone asked about her past. Nowhere special. Days turned into weeks. Everyone in Ridgefield liked Emma. She was quiet, kind, and worked hard. She helped old Mr. Turner cross the street every morning and always gave free muffins to kids who didn't have money. But there were things about her that didn't fit. She never showed anyone her ID. She never talked about family. And she never, ever took pictures. One night, when Sarah was closing the cafe, she joked, "Emma, you act like some kind of secret agent." Emma laughed softly. "Maybe I am," she said, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. Across the street, Ryan Parker sat in his truck, finishing his coffee. He was an architect, new in town, working on a housing project nearby. He came to Sarah's cafe every morning, and every morning, Emma served him with the same gentle smile. He noticed the way she looked at the world, like she was watching everything but letting no one see her. There was something mysterious about her silence. One evening, when the cafe was almost empty, Ryan finally spoke. "You know," he said, "I come here every day just to see your smile." Emma looked surprised. "My smile?" "Yeah," he laughed. "It makes the coffee taste better." For the first time, Emma blushed. "Then I'll make sure to keep smiling," she said. That was how it started: small talks, short laughs, and a friendship that slowly grew into something deeper. But behind closed doors, Emma lived a different life. Her small apartment was always dark. She locked every window, closed every curtain, and kept her suitcase under the bed. Every night, she sat in front of her old laptop. There was one folder on the desktop: Realme. She stared at it for minutes, sometimes hours, her hand trembling over the mouse. But she never opened it. Once, she whispered to herself, "Not yet, they can't know yet." Then she would close the laptop and look at a photo on her nightstand, a picture of two young women smiling. One of them was Emma. The other was someone no one in Ridgefield had ever seen. She would touch the picture and whisper, "I'm sorry, Megan." Months passed. Emma and Ryan grew close. They walked by the lake, talked about dreams, and shared stories, or at least, Ryan did. Emma's stories always stopped halfway. She never talked about her past or her family. Sometimes Ryan wondered if she was running from something. But he never asked. He didn't want to scare her away. Then one evening, while helping her clean the cafe, Ryan accidentally dropped her necklace. It opened when it hit the floor. Inside was a tiny photo of Emma, but with a different name. It said, "Lily Adams." Ryan stared at it. The letters felt heavy, almost wrong. He looked at Emma, who suddenly froze when she saw the open necklace in his hand. "Who's Lily Adams?" he asked softly. Emma's face went pale. She took the necklace quickly, her voice shaky. "It's someone I used to know." Then she turned away, pretending to clean the counter, her hands trembling. Ryan didn't say anything more. But that night, as he drove home, her words kept echoing in his head. Someone I used to know. The next morning, Emma didn't come to the cafe. Sarah said she wasn't feeling well. Ryan wanted to visit her, but something inside told him to wait. He couldn't stop thinking about that name, Lily Adams. It sounded familiar, but he couldn't remember where he'd heard it before. Meanwhile, in her apartment, Emma sat on her bed, holding the necklace tight. Her eyes were full of tears. "They can't find me," she whispered. "Not again." Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. The rain returned just like the night she first came to Ridgefield. Emma walked to her window and looked at the quiet street below. For 3 years, she had been safe. For 3 years, no one had asked questions. But now, she knew it was all about to change. Because secrets never stay buried forever. The next few days in Ridgefield felt strange. Emma went back to the cafe, but something had changed. Her smile was still there, yet it didn't reach her eyes anymore. She laughed when Sarah made jokes, but her laughter sounded forced. And Ryan could feel it. Every time she looked at him, there was fear in her gaze, like she was waiting for him to ask again about Lily Adams. But he didn't. Not yet. He wanted to understand first. That night, Ryan sat in his apartment, his laptop open. The name Lily Adams echoed in his head. It felt familiar, like something from a headline he once read. He opened a browser and typed slowly. Lily Adams Chicago missing case. For a moment, nothing appeared. Then a news article from 3 years ago popped up. He clicked. The screen showed a young woman's face. It was Emma. But the name below said Lily Adams, 23, missing after her best friend found dead. Ryan's heart dropped. He read the whole article. Lily Adams was the last person seen with her friend Megan Brooks before Megan's body was found near Lake Michigan. Police had suspected Lily, but there was never enough proof. Then one day, she simply vanished. Vanished, and reappeared as Emma Collins. Ryan sat in silence. The woman he loved, was she a murderer? Or was she running from something darker? The next morning, he went to the cafe as usual. Emma was there, wiping tables. "Morning," she said softly, trying to sound normal. Ryan smiled, pretending nothing was wrong. "Morning, Emma." But the way he said her name made her look up, like she heard something behind his words. Later that evening, after everyone left, Ryan waited outside. He saw Emma walking home, her head down, her bag tied against her chest. She kept looking over her shoulder, like she felt someone following her. Ryan followed from a distance. When she reached her apartment, she looked around one last time before unlocking the door. Then, inside, she answered her phone. Her voice was low, almost a whisper. "I told you never to contact me again," she said. Ryan froze outside her window, hidden by the shadows. A man's voice came from the phone, faint but cold. "You think you can hide forever, Lily? We know where you are. If you open your mouth, you'll regret it." She hung up, shaking. Ryan's heart pounded. He stepped back into the darkness, his mind racing. Who was that man? Why was he threatening her? Inside the apartment, Emma sat on the floor, holding her head. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I can't run again," she whispered. "Not again." She opened her laptop, clicked on the folder Real Me, and started typing a message, but then she deleted it. She closed the laptop and whispered, "Not yet." The next day, Ryan couldn't keep pretending. He needed answers. He waited until the cafe was quiet and walked up to her. "Emma, or should I say Lily," he said softly. Her hands froze on the coffee cup she was holding. Slowly, she looked up. Her eyes were full of fear. Where did you hear that name? Ryan sighed. I didn't mean to dig into your past. But I saw the name in your necklace, and I searched it. Emma closed her eyes. You shouldn't have. Then tell me the truth, Ryan said. Who are you really? What are you hiding from? Emma stared at the floor for a long time before whispering, I didn't kill anyone, Ryan. But I know who did. Ryan's breath caught. Who? She shook her head. If I tell you, you'll be in danger too. He stepped closer. I'm already in danger if you don't. I just need to know. Emma hesitated. Her voice trembled. 3 years ago, my best friend Megan died. Everyone blamed me. But the real killer is still out there. And he's watching me. Ryan didn't know what to believe. But looking at her eyes full of fear and pain, something inside him said she was telling the truth. Still, he had to be sure. Let me help you, he said gently. Emma shook her head again. You don't understand. People who try to help me, they disappear. Then let me disappear with you, Ryan said, half smiling. At least tell me what happened. She looked at him for a long moment, tears filling her eyes. If I tell you, you'll never look at me the same way again. Ryan reached out and held her hand. Then show me who you really are, Lily. For the first time, she didn't pull away. She whispered, okay, tomorrow night. Come to my apartment. I'll tell you everything. That night, Ryan couldn't sleep. The name Lily Adams, the missing case, the phone call, it all spun in his mind. He didn't know what truth she was about to reveal, but he knew one thing, this wasn't just about love anymore. Meanwhile, in another part of town, a black car parked quietly near Emma's apartment. Inside, a man spoke on the phone. She's talking to someone, he said. A guy named Ryan Parker. Should we handle it? A cold voice replied from the other end, not yet. Let her talk. Let her dig her own grave. The man hung up, started the engine, and drove away slowly, his headlights cutting through the fog. Back in her room, Emma sat by the window, staring at the street light flickering outside. She held the necklace with the photo inside, her old life, her old name. She whispered softly, tomorrow, Ryan, tomorrow, you'll finally know everything. Outside, thunder rolled again, and the rain began to fall just like the night she first came to Ridgefield. And somewhere in the dark, someone was watching. The night was silent when Ryan arrived at Emma's apartment. The rain had stopped, but the streets were still wet, reflecting the dim orange lights. He knocked gently. For a moment, no one answered. Then the door opened a little. Emma stood there, pale and quiet, her eyes red like she hadn't slept at all. Come in, she whispered. The room was dark, except for a small lamp near the sofa. Papers were scattered across the table, old photos, news clippings, and a torn ID card that said Lily Adams. Ryan looked at them silently. So, this is who you really are. Emma nodded. I didn't want you to find out this way. He sat down. You said you didn't kill your friend. Then what really happened, Emma? Please tell me everything. She took a deep breath. Her hands shook slightly. 3 years ago, I was a college student in Chicago, she began. My real name was Lily Adams. My best friend was Megan Brooks. We lived together in a small apartment near campus. She was like my sister. Her voice softened as she smiled sadly. Megan was wild, always laughing, always chasing big dreams. She started dating an older man named Charles Reed. He was rich, charming, and dangerous. Ryan frowned. Dangerous? Emma nodded. He had connections, powerful ones. He promised Megan a future, told her he'd make her a model. But one night, she found something she wasn't supposed to. She discovered files, documents about money laundering and fake charity accounts. She wanted to go to the police. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I told her to stay quiet. But Megan wasn't afraid. She said the truth had to come out. That night, we fought. She left our apartment angry, and she never came back. She paused, breathing heavily. The next morning, her body was found near the lake. Ryan's heart sank. And they blamed you. Emma nodded slowly. Her phone had messages from me, from that night. People said we fought, that I was jealous. Charles told the police I was obsessed with Megan. They believed him. I had no lawyer, no one to help me. I panicked and ran. I left everything behind: my name, my family, my life. She looked down. I became Emma Collins. Ryan sat quietly, trying to take it all in. So the real killer was Charles Reed. Emma nodded. Yes. But he's powerful. He owns companies, donates to politicians, controls people. And someone helped him cover it up. Ryan leaned forward. Do you have proof? Emma looked toward her laptop. Not enough. I had some files, but they were erased. Still, I know where to find the rest. Ryan looked confused. Where? She met his eyes. Megan's old storage unit in Chicago. She kept everything there. I was too scared to go back before, but now, I can't run anymore. Ryan took her hand. Then we'll go together. She looked at him, surprised. Ryan, this isn't your fight. He smiled gently. It became my fight the day I met you. The next morning, they packed a few things and left Ridgefield quietly. The road to Chicago was long and silent. Emma stared out the window, watching the city grow closer, the city she once called home. But what they didn't know was that a black car followed them from a distance. Inside it sat a man in a dark suit, speaking on his phone. They're heading back to Chicago, he said. A deep voice on the other end replied, good. Let them come. We'll be waiting. By afternoon, they reached the city. Emma led Ryan to an old storage building near the river. Dust covered the hallways. They found locker number 39, Megan's unit. Emma's hands trembled as she unlocked it. Inside were boxes filled with notebooks, photos, and a small silver laptop. She opened the laptop. The screen lit up with a folder titled CR Proof, Charles Reed. Ryan leaned in. She kept everything. Emma nodded. Emails, documents, payments. It's all here. Just then, they heard footsteps echoing in the hall. Ryan turned sharply. Someone's here. Emma froze. We have to hide. They ducked behind the boxes just as the door creaked open. Two men in black suits walked in, scanning the room with flashlights. One of them said, the boss said she'd come here. Ryan held his breath. The sound of boots grew closer. One man kicked a box near them, then sighed. She's not here. Let's go. After a tense minute, they left. Emma and Ryan stayed quiet until the sound of footsteps faded. Ryan whispered, we have to get out of here. Emma nodded, clutching the laptop. We can't lose this. This is proof. They slipped out the back door, running into the dark alley. The rain had started again, soft but steady. Later, in a small motel outside the city, Emma sat with the laptop on her lap. I can't believe Megan kept all this, she said. She knew they'd come after her. Ryan nodded. We'll take it to the police. Emma shook her head. No. Charles owns people there. We need to find someone clean, someone who'll listen. Ryan looked at her. Do you know anyone? She hesitated. Yes. There's one person. Megan's old college friend, Detective Laura Green. She's the only one who believed I was innocent. Ryan smiled. Then she's our next stop. But as they spoke, a message popped up on Emma's phone. No number. Just words. You should have stayed hidden, Lily. We found you again. Emma's face went pale. She showed it to Ryan. He clenched his fists. We're not running this time. She looked at him, eyes full of fear. Ryan, they'll kill us. He placed his hand over hers. Then we'll fight back together. Outside, the rain fell harder. Lightning flashed across the sky, as if warning them that the storm was far from over. Emma whispered, the past is coming back, Ryan, and this time, it won't let me go. The motel room was dark except for the glow of the laptop. Rain tapped softly on the window as Emma and Ryan stared at the screen. The files they found in Megan's storage unit were shocking, hundreds of documents, emails, and photos connecting Charles Reed to secret payments, fake charities, and bribes. This is enough to destroy him, Ryan said quietly. Emma shook her head. Not yet. Charles has people everywhere. If we go to the wrong person, this proof will disappear, just like Megan did. Ryan leaned back, rubbing his temples. Then we need someone we can trust. Emma nodded. Detective Laura Green. She was Megan's friend. She believed I was innocent back then. If anyone can help, it's her. The next morning, they drove across the city to a small police station. Detective Laura Green was there, tall, serious, and calm. When she saw Emma, her eyes widened. Lily, or should I say Emma, she said softly. I can't believe it's really you. Emma's voice shook. I didn't kill Megan, Laura. I swear. And I can prove it now. They showed her the laptop and the files. Laura studied them carefully, her eyes narrowing. These are strong, she said. But if Charles finds out you're back, he'll do everything to silence you. We need to be careful. Ryan asked, can we use this to reopen the case? Laura nodded slowly. Yes, but we'll need to verify it first. Give me 2 days. Emma hesitated. We don't have 2 days. They already know I'm back. Laura sighed. Then stay hidden. I'll contact you when I'm sure it's safe. Emma agreed, but she could feel something strange. Laura's eyes lingered on the laptop a little too long. Something about her expression didn't feel right. That night, Emma and Ryan returned to their motel. Exhausted, they finally fell asleep until a loud knock at the door woke them up. Ryan jumped up, heart racing. Who's there? No answer. Just silence. Then, suddenly, a brick crashed through the window. A small paper was tied to it. Ryan picked it up and read the message. Go back to hiding, Lily. Next time, he dies. Emma's hands shook as she grabbed the note. They found us again. Ryan looked out the broken window, but the street was empty. Only the rain and the sound of a car driving away. He turned to Emma. We can't stay here anymore. They packed their things and left that night, driving toward the edge of the city. Ryan's best friend, Mark, lived there, a software engineer who had helped Ryan with work before. Ryan trusted him completely. When they arrived, Mark welcomed them with open arms. Ryan. It's been forever, man. What's going on? Who's this? Ryan sighed. It's a long story. We just need a place to stay for a few days. Mark nodded. Of course. My house is your house. Emma smiled weakly, though her eyes still looked worried. The next morning, while Ryan was asleep, Emma sat alone in the living room. She noticed something strange. Mark's laptop was open, and on the screen was an email draft. It read, "They're here. I'll send you the address soon." Emma froze. Her heart pounded. She looked closer. The message was addressed to someone named C.Reed at businessmail.com. Charles Reed. Emma gasped softly and stepped back. Just then, she heard Mark's footsteps behind her. He spoke calmly. You shouldn't have seen that, Emma. She turned around slowly. Mark, what is this? You're working for him. Mark's face changed. The friendly smile disappeared. I didn't want to. But you don't understand what Charles can do. He owns people, Emma. He owns everything. Ryan walked in just as Mark said that. Mark, what the hell is going on? Mark sighed. I warned you once, Ryan. Stay out of this. You have no idea who you're fighting. Ryan's voice was firm. You betrayed us. Mark looked down, guilt flickering in his eyes. I didn't have a choice. They threatened my family. I thought if I gave them your location, they'd leave me alone. Emma whispered, you helped frame me, didn't you? 3 years ago. You were there that night. Mark's eyes filled with tears. I was drunk. I didn't know what was happening until it was too late. I saw Charles arguing with Megan. Then I saw her fall, and he told me to keep quiet or I'd be next. Ryan clenched his fists. You could have told the truth. I'm sorry, Mark said. But it's too late. They're already coming. Before Ryan could respond, headlights flashed outside. Black cars stopped in front of the house. Men in suits stepped out. Emma whispered, they found us. Ryan grabbed Emma's hand. We're leaving now. They ran through the back door into the rain. Bullets shattered the windows as they fled into the woods behind the house. Mark stood at the doorway, shouting, go. I'll distract them. Ryan looked back one last time. Mark. But before he could finish, the sound of gunfire filled the night. Emma screamed, pulling Ryan deeper into the woods. They ran until they could no longer hear the cars or the voices. When they finally stopped, both were soaked and shaking. Ryan looked at her. We can't trust anyone now. Not even the police. Emma nodded, holding back tears. Then we finish this ourselves. We expose him, no matter what it takes. Hours later, at dawn, they found an old cabin near the highway. Ryan used his phone to back up all the files to a secret cloud drive. Emma sat by the fire, whispering, I can't believe Mark was part of it. Ryan said quietly, maybe he was scared. Maybe everyone is. Emma looked at him, her voice trembling. But I'm not running anymore, Ryan. I'm done hiding. He took her hand. Then we fight. Together. Outside, the morning sun began to rise, but it didn't bring peace. Somewhere in the city, Charles Reed received a message on his phone. She's alive. And she has the files. Charles smiled coldly. Then it's time to end this. The morning light crept through the broken windows of the old cabin. Emma sat by the fire, her hands shaking as she held the small flash drive that contained all of Charles Reed's secrets. Everything she had run from for 3 years, was now inside that tiny piece of metal. Ryan was standing near the door, watching the empty road. He hadn't slept all night. Every noise outside made his heart race. They'll come for us soon, he said quietly. Emma nodded. Then we go to them first. Ryan turned to her. What do you mean? She looked at him, her eyes filled with determination. We expose him. Not through the police, not through lawyers, but to everyone. If we show the truth to the world, he can't hide anymore. Ryan thought for a moment, then smiled. You mean, go public? Emma nodded. Yes. We go live. They found an old diner a few miles away that still had Wi-Fi. Emma connected the laptop and started uploading every file, the photos, the documents, the video recordings Megan had saved. While the files loaded, Ryan set up a live stream on social media. When the camera light blinked red, Emma took a deep breath. Hello, she said softly, her voice shaking at first. My name is Lily Adams. For the last 3 years, I've been living under a false name, Emma Collins. People said I killed my best friend, Megan Brooks. But today, I'm going to show you the truth. Ryan stood beside her silently, watching as she spoke to thousands of strangers who had started joining the live video. She showed the documents, the bank records, the hidden camera footage that Megan had secretly recorded. It showed Charles Reed meeting with officials, handing over envelopes filled with money. Then came the final video, Megan's last message, recorded the night she died. If something happens to me, Megan's voice said through the speakers, it was Charles Reed. He's not who he says he is. Please, Lily, don't let him get away with it. Emma's eyes filled with tears. The comments on the live video exploded, people demanding justice, sharing the stream everywhere. Within minutes, news channels started picking it up. Ryan whispered, "It's working." But before they could celebrate, the sound of screeching tires filled the air. Black cars stopped outside the diner. Emma froze. They're here. Ryan grabbed her hand. Go out the back. They ran through the kitchen, but the back door burst open. Men in black suits stormed in, guns in hand. One of them shouted, "Stop right there." Emma clutched the flash drive and ran toward the alley. Ryan stayed behind to slow them down, throwing whatever he could find. Outside, Emma's heart pounded. She reached the street but found herself face to face with a black limousine. The door opened and Charles Reed stepped out. He looked calm, smiling like a man who had already won. Well, he said slowly, if it isn't Lily Adams. I must say, you've been quite the problem. Emma stood tall. You killed Megan. Charles chuckled. Megan killed herself when she tried to cross me. Just like you will if you don't hand me that drive. Emma clenched it in her fist. You can kill me, but you can't kill the truth. The world already knows who you are. For the first time, Charles's smile faded. What did you do? I went live, she said. Right now, millions of people are watching you threaten me. Charles turned around and saw one of his men holding up a phone, live stream still running. His face turned pale. Turn it off, he yelled. But it was too late. Sirens echoed in the distance. Police cars appeared at both ends of the street. Charles tried to run, but officers surrounded him. Detective Laura Green stepped out of one of the cars, holding a gun. It's over, Charles, she said coldly. You're under arrest. As the police took Charles away, Emma stood frozen. Tears filled her eyes, not from fear, but from relief. Ryan ran to her, wrapping her in his arms. It's over, Emma. It's really over. She looked at him, her voice breaking. I never thought I'd see this day. He smiled softly. You were brave. You didn't just survive, you fought back. She leaned against him, exhausted but finally free. Days later, the story of Lily Adams became the top news everywhere. Charles Reed's empire collapsed. Dozens of his partners were arrested. Megan's name was cleared, and Lily, now Emma, was declared innocent. Reporters wanted interviews, TV shows offered money, but Emma refused all of it. She just wanted peace. One evening, she walked to the lake, the same kind of lake where Megan's life had ended 3 years ago. The sunset reflected on the water, calm and golden. Ryan joined her, holding 2 cups of coffee. You okay? She nodded. Yeah. For the first time in a long time. I am. Ryan looked at her gently. So, who are you now? Lily or Emma? She smiled. Maybe both. Lily was who I was. Emma is who I became. But from now on, I just want to be me. Ryan reached out and held her hand. Whatever your name is, I just want you in my life. Emma smiled, a real, peaceful smile. After all this time, I think I finally believe in happy endings. Ryan looked at the horizon. You deserve one. They stood there in silence as the sun dipped below the water. The past had finally released its grip. Emma closed her eyes and whispered. She faked her identity for 3 years, but this time, she's finally free.